little history before we get into what happened today. Brandon Machado is our suspect. He is in custody. We will be charging him with murder. He has been charged. He was living with his grandmother, Sylvia Schmitt. Sylvia Schmitt is the deceased. She's the victim here today. Brandon had been living there for the past 3 to 4 weeks. We know that he's been living there for a while, and previously we've been out here for a domestic violence case where we arrested Brandon, and he was charged. He was a juvenile at the time. Let me bring you what happened today. At approximately 5:30, we had a neighbor call the Pasco Sheriff's office. He saw something suspicious. What he saw was Brandon kind of looking around the neighborhood as if he was up to something. At that time, the neighbor keeps watching Brandon. Brandon then takes a body that's wrapped up. The neighbor can see feet. He takes him into his minivan and he drives off. We get the call. We respond out here. Due to the fact that, possibly foul play, our deputies make entry. We notice there is a large sum of blood inside the residence. At that time, we secure the location. We start making notification. The Pasco Sheriff's Office sent out a silver alert because we were looking for Sylvia at this point. We did not know what had happened to her. We started working the investigation. At the same time, we had deputies out there patrolling the area, looking for Brandon in his Honda Odyssey. Deputy Frisco is out here on patrol. He's looking all around. At one moment, around 10 o'clock, driving, talking to Deputy Frisco, and he can repeat it more detail. Brandon doesn't stop, but he's not speeding. He's only going about 20, 25 miles per hour. We conduct a traffic stop on him because he pulls in the location about 100 yards away from here. Literally is probably about 50 yards from the location of his home. Our detectives are there. We're able to do a takedown on him. We put him in custody. Looking in the back seat, we unfortunately find the body of Sylvia. She is deceased. So as I said, we are working this as a homicide. Brandon has been charged for murder. As to what degree, we're working with the state right now. We're going to be out here for a while because we're working with the state attorney's office to get a warrant to go fully through the house to find out what is going on.
Has he been cooperative?
I'll let the detective answer that one.
He hasn't made any statements at this point.
What was the domestic call about when it came out here initially? Was there an argument between grandma and grandson? What was it over? What was it about?
That wasn't today. That was a couple of years ago. It was in 2012.
How old is he?
He's 18 years old.
Did that have anything to do with the grandmother, that domestic violence?
Yes, they were involved.
Was she hurt? Was she injured?
No.
Was
Basically,
it just an argument?
basically an argument and threats.
Does he have any prior records of arrests?
Yes, he has been arrested previously. He's been involved in burglaries, various criminal mischiefs.
Why was he living with his grandmother?
That's the only place he had to live from what we're gathering from family members. Grandma took him in and was trying to help him out.
Once again, what was his demeanor when you pulled over that vehicle?
His demeanor in general was just very blank and stoic. We removed him from the vehicle, placed him into custody, had him in a patrol vehicle for a few minutes, and then the main case detective tried to speak with him, and he wouldn't say anything to us. He just looked down.
Did Brandon have a job or go to school or anything? Or did he just live around?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
You mentioned that you found blood inside the house. Obviously, as far as how he killed her, how he died.
Not specifically at this particular point. There was signs of a struggle inside the residence.
That minivan belonged to him?
That's Sylvia's van, the grandmother's van.
Have the other family members showed up after?
No.
They have been notified.
Yes, they have been notified.
Were his parents in fish at all? Do they live in the area?
I'm sorry?
Are his parents in fish at all? Do they live in the area?
They're not from the area, no.
What happens next? He's being charged with murder. Is he here or has he already been booked?
He has already been taken to Atlanta Lakes Detention Center.
Is it his mugshot?
From the detention site, I'm sure.
No, not right. So he didn't indicate at all as to what may have led to the argument or
None. None.
Do you all think this murder happened today?
Based upon the information that we've received up to this point and the observations that I and other detectives have made, yes, we believe that the altercation occurred sometime overnight.
How fortunate was it for you all that the neighbor noticed when you noticed?
Very fortunate. Yes, very fortunate. It was specifically the actions of Deputy Frisco that helped to bring this to the conclusion where we're at right now, was him observing the vehicle traveling on State Road 54 and then following him to this location.
Can we get Deputy Frisco name to talk?
Yes, of course.
If you don't mind telling us what you saw and how.
Deputy Frisco, I was at work in patrol. I'd been looking for the vehicle since a call earlier this morning. I located the vehicle at US 41 and State Road 54. It was traveling southbound. Once I got behind it and identified the tag as being the vehicle, I initiated or attempted to initiate a traffic stop. Lights and sirens, he failed to stop until we got here onto this road here, when another patrol vehicle came up and cut him off in the front, and we were able to take him into custody at that point.
What time did all of that happen?
The traffic stop was approximately 10:15.
And he wasn't going fast, huh?
No, he didn't get over 25 miles an hour. He just wasn't stopping for me. We actually came to a stop at the entrance to the community for the gate to open. He just kept on going. The whole time I kept hitting the siren, he just failed to stop.
He didn't say anything to you when you actually made contact with him?
Nothing at all.
Just for my own clarification, you guys said you found blood inside the house. Is that where you believe the murder happened? And then he carried the body outside to a car?
That's what we're assuming at this point.
That goes somewhere, but it's not clear where, but he ended up back.
Yes, yes, correct.
Where is that house?
I'm sorry?
The house where it happened? It's the house where
It's near here on the other side of the wall.
it's in this community.
Yes.
Does she have any blunt force trauma to her body? Can you describe any of that?
We haven't made those observations yet. We have the medical examiner's office on scene now, and they're doing that processing right now.
Sheriff, could you possibly talk to us just about how tragic a case like this is when a family member is charged with murdering someone that was trying to give him a helping hand?
You know, it's unfortunate. This is the second domestic violence killing in Pasco in the past several days. We had one Friday morning and this one. It's obvious that the grandmother was truly caring for her grandson. That domestic violence case several years ago, I believe that she dropped the charges. She didn't want to pursue it any further. It was obviously somebody who really cared and wanted to get that helping hand because, as you heard, his parents aren't in the picture. So it's extremely sad. And going back to the case, you know, about the neighbor, if it hadn't been for the neighbor notifying us, you know, possibly at this point we may not have known what has happened. The neighborhood, nobody may have known that Sylvia was missing. The other side of it is, you know, we have absolutely great detectives and deputies out there. If it wasn't for Deputy Frisco, you know, making that traffic stop, being alert, you know, maybe he would have kept going south on 41. There's a lot of questions going on right now as to where he was going, why he came back in the area. We're going to get answers, but again, this is another sad day in Pasco County where we talk about domestic violence. And again, we want to bring the awareness out there that, you know, either Sunrise, Domestic Shelter, Salvation Army, you know, it's unfortunate, but domestic violence is real in our community. And it's something like this today that it gets brought to the spotlight.
Sure, I think you mentioned this. How long had you been living with her?
Right now, we know recently about 3 to 4 weeks. But that's steady. Yeah, 3 to 4 weeks steady right now. But he's been here in the past because that domestic violence case in the past, he was living here. So talking to the neighbors, it sounded like he was somebody that was known to the neighbors. This was not a stranger. They knew who he was.